Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Dewey Mosley coming to you with your daily trading update for Team Jireh for 3 December 2020. Again, another interesting day today. Just look forward to letting you know how things went. Before we get started, let's go over our disclosures and disclaimers. As always, I just want to remind you that trading and investing involves significant risk. And everything that you're going to hear today is for information and educational purposes only and is not intended as investment advice. So with that, let's go ahead and make our way over to the markets. All right, so we're continuing on with our two main strategies, and I would almost call them our core positions in a manner of speaking. And we're going to start out again with the S&P 500, the SPY, and I'm going to let you know what positions we have on and how they're doing. So as you look at this chart, I just decided to put some graphics up there to give you an idea of what the trades look like graphically. But what you can see is these three gray boxes. We're continuing on with our trampolines as the market has gone up. It's given us opportunities to put in three long vertical spreads in the S&P 500. I just call them trampolines because I have a hedging component. And as you can see, all three are outside of the box. And you can see by the edge of the box that we only have one more day left on our first trampoline. So if we can get through tomorrow without breaking the bottom of this box, then that'll be a profit for this one. We have a little bit more time left on our second trampoline, and then the third one we just put in, of course, has additional time as well. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see our rams. This ram has been working since back here on about the 18th. You can see we have a little bit more time to go, but again, we're outside of both of these bars. It doesn't matter which side, but if we can get to the end of this bar, that would be a winner. And I put in one more trampoline because we got far enough away from the first one where I could create a gap. And for this one, we have a little bit more time on it, but if it can settle above this bar that you can barely see, I'll squeeze that down a little bit, or below this bar out in the future, then that one will also be a winner. So that's going well. The S&P 500 itself, it's really wanting to go up. We did get a little bit of information when the announcement came out about the vaccine that caused the market to come down a little bit. So we know that's at least part of the calculation of some of the big players is what is the supply chain and the rollout of the vaccine. So that'll let us know how that's going. Let's go ahead and take a look at our hedge. All right, let's get down to we'll do the 3-day 15-minute should be fine. That should be sufficient. All right, in about 3 minutes, I'm gonna have to go ahead and move some positions around here. But as you can see, I went ahead and started a hedge way back here. Normally that hedge would have been closed as we bounced through the break even. I made a conscious decision that because we are so high in the markets that I'm going to go ahead and just leave this hedge on and roll my trampolines forward each month until I believe that the market inevitably at least comes down to our beginning of the top of our hedge, or the top of our trampoline and the bottom of our trampoline. That's a conscious decision. It could cost me, but it has the effect of doing kind of a covered put or a married put. So I'm going to stick with it. And so far, so good. It's definitely in the range of what I'm making on the trampolines. And you can see where I got into this trade here. So with that, let's go ahead and make our way over to the currencies. That's the only other positions I'm working. Again, for those that are interested in getting the details on how we do strategy development, what our strategies are, of course, you'd want to be a member of our team by joining up with us. And then from there, you attend several trading rooms and workshops that we have that give you the details of how we do what we do, as well as educational material. So you can see this was a really interesting day that we've had since the last time we talked. So good results, but let's just take a detailed look at what happened. So you can see I entered a trade way back here on the 2nd of December and just had a great run to the upside. Did a little bit, very small back and forth here. But as you can see, and I want you to just look down there at the bottom, the action that took place here took place as usual between about 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning. For whatever reason, the euro tends to move around at that time. But of course, I'm asleep and I have some program trades in. And I always wanted to make sure that my closing trade, or excuse me, I always want to make sure when I'm asleep that the last trade in the chain is a closing trade, so that, you know, I don't get caught on the wrong side. It did kind of come down, went up, closed right here for a very small loss. Then right as I was probably waking up here, right, you can see where this orange box is. It started to turn up. Now, the reality is, and this is why I talk about in our meetings, discipline is important. I actually was awake at 5 o'clock. I was pretty groggy. I actually remember hitting the snooze button. But one of the first things I should have done when I woke up was check the markets and take action where action was appropriate. Absolutely clear buy signal right here. You have, it's next to an anchor. You have clear market structure, and that would have been a buy all day long. In accordance with my strategy, as the day went on, I made it to the level I was looking for, could have put in a short stop right here to close that trade. And this line represents, as you can see here by the text box, a 85 pip gain. All right. Now, I didn't lose anything, but I did miss an opportunity by not exercising discipline. Right. Now, the next thing you might say is, well, gee, when you wake up, as you see it going up, why not get in and follow that trade? Well, this is where patience comes in. You know, I have a set strategy, and if I don't hit my entries, I have to have the patience to wait for the next one. And if you just kind of take a look at what would have happened if I were impatient and tried to jump in, it immediately turned around and came down. So yes, I missed an opportunity, but I'm going to exercise patience to get back up on the surfboard, so to speak, wait for the next wave, right? And I have confidence that that'll come. So, so lesson learned here, you know, you just have to get yourself, you know, stop hitting the snooze button and do what you're supposed to do. That could have been 85 pips, but that's okay. You know, that stuff happens. Certainly could have been worse, but that's kind of how that shook out right now. It is 15 minutes until market open. So at this point, in accordance with my strategy, I'm going to go ahead and move some of my trades here to where I want them to be. And you guys can just watch me do this. That's okay. I'm just getting that in the right area there. Let me make sure that that is, in fact, what I want. I'll just stand by. All right, 1.2103. Okay, I'm going to move that up just a little bit. And so I want to get that right at a certain level. And again, if you want to know what that level is, show up in the trading room. All right. Okay, and I'm going to do that also for the rest of my accounts here. Hold on 1 second. 103. All right, and why do I do this? This is just a part of kind of following the markets and following a strategy. And for those of you that are following along, you can replicate this in your own account if you'd like. Okay. All right, and I have one more, I believe. Okay, I just want to make sure I get all these in. All right, and let's get all that. It does take a little bit of concentration to work multiple accounts. Okay, 1.2103. All right, so as you can see, we are in kind of a no trade zone for me between my buy and my sell. All right, you can see the buy there, the sell there, and we're just waiting for one of those to execute, and we will get right back up on the surfboard and or I should say, get right back on the mountain and start climbing. So let's get back to the main account. All right. Not much more to cover with regard to this, but I did think it was a good lesson learned about, making sure that you don't miss opportunities it gives you. You want to catch every single one of those. So with that, I think that pretty much covers everything. We do have a couple of our business partners in attendance, so I will give them an opportunity for any brief questions. Todd Chambers and Yvonne Galatira. If you have any questions, you're welcome to ask. And if not, we will close the session. So I'll give you a moment. Okay, if there's no questions, really enjoyed sharing this with you. Again, if you want to know more, feel free to contact me and we can get you started with our team. We have a great time, and what we'll do is go ahead and close this session out. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thanks.